Hey everyone, my name is Josh and welcome back to your fourth stimulus package and news update. We have a lot of news to get into in today's video, but first, if you would like to receive 2 free stocks from Webull valued up to $2,300, make sure to claim them by clicking my link, which you will find in the description box below. Okay, so it's Monday, which also means we're at the start of a huge week to come. By the end of this week, the goal is for congressional leaders in the House to hold a vote on the bipartisan infrastructure bill, in addition to reaching a deal on the framework for the reconciliation package. And for one of these things to happen, the other will also need to happen. If an agreement on the framework for the reconciliation package doesn't take place, for example, then House Speaker Nancy Pelosi won't allow for a vote to take place on infrastructure. This is because she knows progressives won't vote in approval of the infrastructure bill, and Pelosi doesn't want to hold a vote unless she for sure knows that she has the votes to pass it. If she could make some type of promise to progressive Democrats in the House that if they allow for the infrastructure bill to pass, they'll hold a vote on reconciliation very soon, it might just happen, but it's hard seeing progressives allowing for that to take place. Instead, they will first need to reach an agreement on reconciliation before moving forward on infrastructure. So to get moving closer to an agreement on the reconciliation bill, over the weekend, Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, and Joe Manchin all met in Wilmington where they try to work out some of their key differences. These include the total cost, where Joe Manchin still wants to spend right around $1.5 trillion, whereas Joe Biden would like to spend $2.2 trillion. Other than the total price tag, Manchin has also been against expanding Medicare to cover vision, dental, and hearing programs, whereas progressives, led by Senator Bernie Sanders, had made this one of their red lines. One of the modern Democrat holdouts on reconciliation, Kyrsten Sinema, was not hosted at the meeting, so it's unclear how they'll proceed with her. And so far, she's been opposed to funding the bill by raising taxes on American citizens, which may cause Democrats to have some sort of wealth tax instead. Sinema also hasn't been overly happy with the fact that progressive Democrats have held the infrastructure bill hostage in order to reach an agreement on reconciliation. Before voting on reconciliation, Sinema first wants to pass the other bill. Yesterday, CNN's State of the Union hosted House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, where she discussed a good bit of what's currently going on. First off, she was asked where they were in negotiations.
How close are you to a deal on this larger package of elder care, daycare, child care, family leave, that stuff, whatever you want to call the bill, the social safety net bill we call it, and will President Biden have a deal in hand when he leaves for Europe this week?
Well, first, thank you for the opportunity to talk about that this morning. I'm glad that you talked about COVID in your opening here, because that's how we start all of our meetings. What are we doing to protect the American people, to stop the spread of COVID? And I want to commend President Biden for having a completely different approach than his predecessor on this. We have to correct a lot of what went wrong then, and we're on a good path. And the good news about children being safely able to be vaccinated is something that will help stop the spread. So thank you for focusing on that, because that is...
We talk about it every day, all day.
And so do we in the House Democratic Caucus. In terms of where we are, I've said already we've 90% of the bill agreed to and written. We just have some of the last decisions to be made. It is less than we had was projected to begin with, but it's still bigger than anything we have ever done in terms of addressing the needs of America's working families. And it is about all that you said in terms of care, the care piece, but it's also about the climate piece, which is a health issue, a jobs issue, a security issue, and a values issue for us. And we will have something that will help meet the president's goals. I feel very confident about that, even though it will be different than what we originally proposed.
So Pelosi says that they're almost there and at least 90% of the bill has been agreed to. Of course, we've been hearing those talks for weeks and months now. Pelosi is then asked if the House still plans on passing the bipartisan infrastructure bill by October 31st in accordance to her deadline.
Bill, you said the House must pass the bipartisan infrastructure plan by October 31st, which is a week from today. Moderates are frustrated. 2 deadlines have been missed because of the progressives. Are you going to meet that goal?
No, wait a minute. There was no deadline that was missed because of the progressives.
Okay.
The deadline was missed because they changed from 3.5 to 1/2 that, and we've had to go in and it's lamb meat lamb. Everything is good in the bill. What do you cut?
Okay.
So in terms of this date, this date is fraught with meaning because on October 31st is the day that the Highway Trust Fund authorization expires.
Right.
And if that expires, we have to get billions of dollars someplace to continue that. The best way to do that is to pass the BIF, having nothing to do with all the other, shall we say, deliberations that are going on. Our chair of the committee, Peter DeFazio, who's a master of this, of the Transportation Infrastructure Committee, has said we must pass this by October 31st.
Pelosi says, wait a minute, there has never been any deadlines. October 31st, in Pelosi's mind, is more about the expiration of the Highway Trust Fund authorization rather than passing the infrastructure bill. Pelosi does say that the plan is to reach an agreement on reconciliation in addition to passing BIF by the end of this week. Then, one other question that Nancy Pelosi is asked is whether or not she's been frustrated with the two moderate Democratic senators, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, holding out on reconciliation. Take a listen.
Sanders, the independent from Vermont.
Sanders.
Are you frustrated? I mean, you talk about how you're almost there, except for 10% of the bill, and you also talk about how the House is there. You guys are ready. You're going to pass it. And it's really these two Senate holdouts, Sinema and Manchin. Are you frustrated with them?
Well, I'm respectful of everybody's point of view. I do not want the I don't want the Trump tax cuts perpetuated. So I don't want anybody to think if we don't address those right now they're off the table. No, we will use them for something at some point because you can't use the wealth tax and tax the billionaires, which is what we should be doing, and let corporate America off the hook. But corporate America will be paying because of the overseas tax and some of the other provisions are very technical to go into right now.
Yeah.
We'll know more tomorrow to see what makes the cut.
What makes the cut?
And then it's worth it, the time to go into it.
So Pelosi says she's respectful of everyone's point of view, although she may not agree with everything they've been saying. Okay, so this week, they'll need to work out disagreements over the expansion of Medicare, the Clean Electricity Performance Program, how many Americans will be eligible for different programs, such as the child tax credit, and a few other issues. And whether or not they're able to work out some sort of an agreement will be up to Senators Joe Manchin, Kyrsten Sinema, and of course, the Progressive Democrats. In tweets sent out by Senator Bernie Sanders over the weekend, he said, the expansion of Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and vision is supported by 84% of the public and is one of the most important provisions in Build Back Better. It's what the American people want, and after waiting over 50 years, what they are going to get. Keeping teeth in your mouth as you grow old should not be a luxury in this country. Of course, Manchin has been firmly against expanding Medicare until they can first find a long-term solution in funding the programs that we already have. That's one of the key differences that could cause his entire bill to simply fall apart. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Again, if you would like to receive a couple free stocks from Webull, make sure to quickly claim them by clicking my link, which you will find in the description box below. To receive the first stock, you will need to fully open an account. Then to receive the second free stock, which will be valued up to $2,000, you'll need to make a qualifying deposit of at least $5. And even if you aren't all that interested in investing or continuing to invest at this point in time, you can always sell the free stocks you receive and transfer that money, however much they're worth, right back to your bank account. So free stocks or free money is completely up to you. So once again, I hope everyone has a great and safe rest of their day, and I'll see you in the next video.